Michael
Charlton.
Got it.
Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you about my dream job, professional firefighting. When a man becomes a fireman, his greatest act of bravery has been accomplished, and from what he does after that point is in his line of work. That was a quote by Edward Crocker that is particular to me because it signifies a lot of bravery that a lot of firefighters have, and as well as the job requirements that come with it. Now, the general public is not very, they're supportive of, the actual firefighting community, but there's times where it's a little bit shaky as to what exactly they do and how much money they make or how much they actually, the benefits they have and different things that are given. What I'm going to show is the advantages, the disadvantages, and also the requirements that aren't just given and what are perceived by others, but we're at the actual facts. So the advantage is obviously you're serving the public, you're giving medical assistance, you're doing as much as you can for the public as whatever's possible. One of the big things that they have is public awareness with just giving the broad, just a lot of speeches on, for instance, this past with Henderson, they just did a pool safety awareness where they give tons of speeches throughout the entire community about what's, what can be given, what can be done to save kids' lives and not do, make sure they don't drown or anything. Obviously, good pay is always something that is very given in Henderson or Clark County, anywhere you go, but is also looked at very, not badly, but looked at as kind of a weird thing from most of the public. But that also ranges from different parts of the country. Here, just happens to be very good pay. 401k retirement plan. They have a great retirement plan that's pretty set in stone, which is hard to find with a lot of jobs nowadays. And they also have paid sick leave. So if you're sick, you take time off, it's obviously paid. Obviously looked at as a public figure. I mean, you're heroic. Girls say you run to the fires, you're the brave man. And you also have a bunch of vacation time. And that's actually Henderson's fire engine. My dad's a Henderson firefighter, so luckily I got to take lots of pictures of what they have in there. And also you can see all the tools and stuff that they have, which is always a nice thing. Now for the disadvantages, obviously you have your family that you're gone for from possibly 24 hours to 72 hours, sometimes even 96. Always a big disadvantage to most because they don't like being away from their family, which is common for everybody. Very physically demanding, you have to be in the best shape almost of your life to be able to do anything. You're constantly lifting weights, you're doing anything you can to be in a good position that if you go into a fire, you're ready. Mental stress from waking up from calls. You're waking up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. It all depends on exactly when you're going to wake up. How you, also what you see on those calls can be very disturbing and can take a mental toll on your body. Pay also can be a problem as well. For instance, in New York, they have a problem with their pay and some of them need 2 jobs just to make their actual house payments or anything because no one wants to pay firefighters very well out there. They don't have a strong union. Now, also the disadvantage is public opinion. For instance, Clark County doesn't have a very good opinion of their firefighters because of some people taking advantage of the system and not doing as well as, paid sick leave, they're taking a little bit too much. And one of the quotes right here from Skoneman from one of the articles I found online was, I don't think people hate firefighters, but when people are far more suspicious of them than they used to be, people were just starting to get more suspicious and not necessarily hating firefighters, but being, hey, we don't necessarily promote anything you guys are doing, but they're just very cautious. Obviously, the toll on the body is a very big part of how that works. It's a lot of stress, basically a lot of injuries, and media questioning also, which plays into a part of the speech process of how when media is coming up for a fire, they're asking you got to make a delivery speech on what just happened and make sure you represent the department very well. Now the requirements, obviously, be in great physical shape. You're going to go through a big, rigorous physical test. It's very hard. You're going to pass a written exam your first time. 2 oral interviews, which also take part, which is why I'm doing this, is because I want to broaden my oral interview skills and kind of get better at what I do. You have to pass a psychomotor examination, which is very rigorous as well. They question you on everything you do, and you have to be able to handle sleep deprivation, exhaustion, and you have to go through a 4-month academy that's absolutely exhausting. Most departments also require EMT certifications and would like to see a degree. I'm going after a fire science degree, and that's what most of them go after, but all depends on what you would like to do. There's people that have communications degrees that get into fire departments or business degrees. It really doesn't matter. just as long as you have a degree, it shows you have a good dedication to what you're doing. And lastly, from Powell, in one of the articles I found, 3 firefighter applicants hired at the board's last meeting contingent on their past physicals did not meet department's height and weight requirements. It just shows that you can have all that degree, you can have everything you want, but sometimes if you're not height, you're not weight, you're not big enough, they won't take you. That's how physically demanding it can be for some guys. If you're not above a certain height, you're not below, there's certain things that just really hit home for them and they won't hire you unless it's actually there. And then lastly, that is just the actual Henderson Fire Department engine. And I mean, most people don't understand what they do and what they do for a job and how rigorous it is to actually take part in that department and see exactly how, the stuff that they do. Luckily, I'm able to see exactly what they do and how much of a very rewarding job it is to be able to help people in their time of distress and not just, be sitting at the station playing Xbox like most of them think they are. And that's it. Thank you.